Hey everybody, welcome back to this tapping series that we're doing on tapping for our to-do list. As moms, we have a never-ending to-do list, and sometimes we need to tap on the basics, everyday chaos of motherhood, what's on our to-do list, in order to get into the meat or behind the scenes or into the deeper work, the inner work, the emotional work, the belief work, or anything else that comes along with the craziness of motherhood. So, today we are tapping on the topic of packing lunches for our kids. Now, this has got to be hands down one of the biggest things that I really dislike. I really hate packing lunches. Food in general, cooking in general, just does not, it's not my thing. It's not my strength. It's really hard for me to learn. It's just not for me. It's not for me. And as I'm saying these out loud, notice to yourself what you're telling yourself about packing lunches for kids or cooking if you're the same as me. All of these things are stories that I've told myself. These are all beliefs that can be reframed so that it's not such a struggle for us to do. And that's what we're going to tap on here today, especially around packing lunches for kids. So, the first thing that I want you to do as we're leaning into this topic of packing lunches for kids, take a breath and really just sit with what you dislike about packing lunches for kids. For me, it's the ideas. Maybe it's the fact that I just really don't have very creative ideas. My kids don't eat their lunches all the time. I'm always trying to guess what they want. And then they tell me what they want and then they don't eat it. It's just, what the hell? So there's that aspect of it. But there's also, I'm not a morning person. So getting up to pack lunches is irritating sometimes. It's not my strong suit. Um, I am not one of those moms who will get up at, 5 or 6 or whatever ungodly hour before my kids get up so that I can have some me time or so that I can make things easier for me. It's just not how I do it. And the other thing, my other complaint that I will share for myself personally about packing lunches is I don't want to do it the night before because most of the things that I want to pack has to be prepared in that morning. If they're like sandwiches, um, or my kids really prefer fresh macaroni and cheese. Like there's certain things that it's just very inconvenient. So we're going to work on that today. Feel free to jot down in the comments or write down in a notebook something for yourself. What is it that you really dislike about packing lunches for your kids? And on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is that dislike? How high is that hatred for packing lunches for your kids? 0 being, man, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really affect you. Maybe you're neutral or indifferent to it, it doesn't bother you. Maybe you enjoy it. And 10 being, you absolutely loathe it, you hate it. It's just ridiculous. It's the worst thing ever in the world. And this first round that we're going to do is the venting round. It is going to be literally telling it like it is. How do you really feel about packing kids' lunches? Don't hold back. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to put this disclaimer energy on it and be like, oh, it's not that bad, actually. Don't try to water it down. Really let this out. So, what we've seen, if you watched other videos on this tapping for the to-do list or to-do list tapping series, is that when we try to water down how we actually feel about these simple basic things that need to get done, they're just a part of it. um, when we water that down, we're really taking away from the full expression and the full movement and shift of the energy, the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, and the physical sensations that are behind these very basic, very simple life things, right? So um, they are part of life, but if we are watering down how we feel about it, we're actually creating more resistance for those feelings of, sorry, my dog is eating our basil plant. Ronnie, stop that. Sorry. If it's not the kids, it's the dogs. So yeah, we don't want to suppress, we don't want to hold and carry any emotions that can easily be released. And these to-do list tapping sessions are a very very gentle, soft, and simple way to release extra emotion, extra anger, extra irritation, extra impatience, extra beliefs. Like they are all ways that we can simply, in a very gentle way, release these pent up emotions without going very, very deep into something. Now, like we've also seen in other videos, there is usually a thing behind the thing, but we're going to do a venting round first. So if you've never tapped before, just follow me. You tap where I tap and say what I say. And we're just going to get ahead. We're going to go ahead and we're going to say, even though I hate packing my kids' lunches, I know that this is something that I have to do, but I still really hate it. And I'm going to let myself express this hatred now. Even though I really don't like packing my kids' lunches. They never eat what I give them. It's always a fight. I never know what to give them. I give myself permission to vent all this out. And I love and accept myself anyway. Even though packing my kids' lunches is part of the deal. And I really wish I didn't have to do it. And that's okay. I am allowed to say that I don't want to pack my kids' lunches. And I'd like to love and accept myself anyway. Top of the head. I hate packing lunches. Eyebrow point. I hate packing lunches. Side of the eye. I just hate packing lunches. Underneath the eye. They never eat what I give them. Underneath the nose. I don't like giving them crap. Underneath the mouth, but it's always the quickest and easiest thing to do. Collarbone point. I feel guilty for giving them garbage food. Underneath your arms. I feel like I'm being judged by teachers. Underneath the chest. But I just hate packing lunches. Missed points. I don't get creative. Top of the head. I'm not inspired by packing my kids' lunches. Eyebrow point. I am not that Pinteresty kind of mom. Side of the eye. I hate packing lunches. Underneath the eye. I try to know what my kids want. Underneath the nose. But then they don't eat it. Underneath the mouth. It's such a waste of food. Collarbone point. There's always a fight to eat it after school. Underneath the arms. I just hate packing lunches. Underneath the chest. Thank God for hot lunch days. Wrist point. It sucks that I don't like packing my kids' lunches. Top of the head. I wish this was easier for me. Eyebrow point. But I just hate it. All right. So taking a sip of water or coffee or tea or whatever you might have, and just tuning in with that round of venting. How did that feel for you? Were you able to vent it out? Was it hard to say? Was there something that triggered or hit a little bit more? does it feel, what's the right word for it? It's like complaining. It's like, I feel sheepish sometimes when I talk about packing my kids' lunches. It's like, honestly, it's the simplest thing in the world to do, but I really hate it and I'm not good at it. And so it makes me feel bad about myself, and it makes me feel bad for, you know, losing that. For me, what comes up right now especially is that sensation, or that stereotypical 1940s 1950s mom who loved putting time and energy and love into the meals and the cooking and the and the prep work or whatever it might have been. I just don't feel that. And so sometimes I feel like I've been gypped on motherhood. I have been sold the wrong idea about mom life, because that's not how I do it. That's not how I feel about it. I'd like to, I wish it was easier, but it's just not. So just tuning in, how do you feel about that? How do you feel now about the venting? Maybe there's more that came up. Maybe you want to redo the venting stage and be like, no, I absolutely hate it. I don't wish this was easier. I wish I could just pay for somebody to do this for me. Why is that not a thing, right? And maybe it is, right? So this next round we're going to do is going to be a little bit more about opening up to possibilities. So this is where I really, we want to reframe our responsibility as well. And so maybe we'll do that before we do the opening up to possibility. It's kind of like together, but we want to reframe it, because actually the thing that I was going to say, and this is how I reframed it for myself, was like, what is the worst case scenario that would happen if I didn't pack my kids' lunches? And I got dramatic with this a little bit. Get a little dramatic, get the emotions flowing freely, not to feel guilty, but to feel into, for me, when I did this exercise for myself, so many, like when my son was in kindergarten and he's in grade 4 now, I still am not a big fan of packing lunches, but I think about it differently sometimes now, because I have gone into this space of, if I didn't pack my kids' lunches, they go hungry. I am actually very happy, and I'm very grateful that I get the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom in order to pack those lunches. And I'm not doing this in a way to get myself guilty, or to make myself feel guilty, or to blame myself or shame myself into feeling better about it. But after you do the venting, after you really release all of the shitstorm of how you feel, all the thoughts, swear if you have to. I love swearing with him. But after you release that, after you really vent it out and really express how you really feel, there's going to be a little shift within you that's like, you know what? Maybe I can look at this differently, because of different ways. So, and that's my biggest thing. And that's what really tugged at my heartstrings, not to make me feel guilty again. Because if there's guilt, then we need to tap on the guilt. But to come from a very genuine place, a very heartfelt place of, I am lucky. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative that we have different kinds of things, that we can buy different kinds of things to try out for our kids' lunches. And in all honesty, from the very get-go, we sometimes do little treats or baking or whatever for the kids, or sometimes we'll buy like little junk food things for them in their lunches. But from the very get-go, we try to really, really create this like well-rounded lunch idea. And again, I'm pretty grateful and appreciative and lucky that my husband enjoys doing their lunches too when he's home from work. So again, it's me being open to different possibilities and me reframing how I come into making my kids' lunches. So tug at your heartstrings, get into the emotion, and if there's any overbearing emotions that make you feel guilty, or make you feel shame or blame or resentment or tension or anything like that, tap on that tension first and really get to a genuinely heartfelt place where you can feel the energy shift and say, you know what, I'm ready to take a look at this differently now. So we're going to move on to the second round about reframing. After getting that venting out, like really expressing how we feel in order to move into the next phase of reframing this responsibility. So we're going to start tapping on the side of the hand. Taking a nice gentle breath and say, even though sometimes I really don't like packing kids' lunches. I sometimes feel like I take this for granted. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. Because I would like to see this differently. Even though it's not the best thing in the world to pack my kids' lunches. It's not my favorite thing. I'm curious if I could feel differently about this today. And if I did, what would that look like? And I love and accept whatever comes up for me now. Especially because it feels like I'll be packing lunches forever. Sometimes this feels overwhelming. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing this right. And I love and accept myself anyway. And I'm curious if I can see this differently today. So we're going to go to the top of the head and we're going to say, sometimes I feel guilty. Eyebrow point. Sometimes I feel ungrateful. Side of the eye. Sometimes I feel lazy or spoiled. Underneath the eye. Because I'm complaining about packing my kids' lunches. Underneath the nose. I forgive myself for beating myself up about this. Underneath the mouth. And I wonder if I'm open to seeing this differently now. Collarbone point. What if some of the times I could feel okay about packing lunches? Underneath the arms. What if I could really notice when my kids eat their lunch? Underneath the chest. What if I could really focus on the days that I get it done fast? Wrist points. The days that it comes really easy. Top of the head. The days when I have things prepared and ready to go. Eyebrow point. What if those days outnumbered the other days? Side of the eye. It's okay that I have bad days. Underneath the eye. It's okay that I hate packing my kids' lunches some days. Underneath the nose. It's okay that there's a mix of good food and crap food. Underneath the mouth. And I wonder how I could make this easier for myself. Collarbone point. What if packing lunches was super neutral? Underneath the arms. What would I need in order to make packing lunches feel better? Underneath the chest. I'm curious about what this might mean. Wrist points. And I'm open to seeing how I can pack lunches with more ease. Top of the head. And how I can shift how I think about this today. Okay. Again, taking a sip of water, a nice gentle breath, just tuning into what comes up for you in that. And for me, it's the both and, right? So it's okay to have those days when shit's hitting the fan and we're just whipping shit together, and it is what it is. But it's also okay to really focus in on and, you know, be very mindful about the days when things come easy, we're prepared, we have you know, there's a flow to it, we have good ideas that are coming in, and we feel like we're doing the best that we can, right? We feel like we're doing a good enough job, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best job. It doesn't have to be, you know, that perfect mom kind of vibe, right? Because there's no such thing. And so it's just normal everyday mom shit, right? Like, so, and that's okay. That's totally okay to feel cranky and irritable about the days that are not going that well, and then really focusing in on the days that are, you know, really highlighting maybe, or yeah, focusing in on the days that, you know, things feel seamless and easy and flowy, and you are prepared and you have ideas and you're feeling good about it. So we're going to go into this last round here about being open to new ideas. So maybe, you know, we have some, you know, moments, using our mood, using our energy as moments of inspiration. So this happens to me every once in a while. I'm not a Pinteresty mom. I do love Pinterest though. I like to scroll it and like to see things, but it's very hard for me to be in the mood to go in there some days and like try to get ideas for this. But when I do get those moods, I get in there and I make sure I take advantage of those moods. Maybe we can become more open to, you know, maybe there's a service in town, or maybe that's something that we need to maybe not do ourselves, but maybe that we can create a service in town where we are hiring people who do love packing lunches for their kids, and you know, helping moms in general in the community to pack their lunches or give them ideas or have somebody do it for them. Like, I mean, there's no right or wrong way, right? Like, you have people come in to clean houses, you have chefs, you have caterers, you have nutritionists, you have all of these people that are doing these certain things. Why not have somebody who makes people's kids lunches, and they're healthy and they're good, and we all know that our kids eat other people's food just fine. It could be the same thing that we make them as mothers. This happens all the time with my husband. He will make tacos, I will make tacos. They want his tacos, they hate my tacos, right? So, and again, to doing the work to not take that personally. That's also another sidebar. That's another thing behind the thing. Don't take it personally, right? But it's sometimes hard. So what does that mean? Anyway, that's a whole different video. So we're going to do this last round, being open to the possibility of things being easier, of doing things differently, of, yeah, just opening up to how, you know, new ideas or new inspiration in this area of packing our kids' lunches. So we're going to start by tapping on the side of the hand and say, even though packing my kids' lunches is not my favorite thing, I'm coming around to seeing this differently. Maybe it doesn't have to be so hard. And I love and accept what I have uncovered today. Even though I'm not good at packing lunches, it doesn't mean that it has to be hard. And I'm open to new ideas to make this easier for me today. Especially because there's a lot more lunches to pack. I don't want to feel a struggle with this every single day. And so I'm ready to reframe this responsibility and see how I can do this and make this easier for myself. Top of the head. I wonder if there's a service that can help me with this. Eyebrow point. I'm open to new ideas and inspiration. Side of the eye. I'm open to being shown a different way. Underneath the eye. Maybe I'm ready to get creative. Underneath the nose. Maybe I'm ready to get my kids to help me. Underneath the mouth. Maybe I'm ready to ask for support. Collarbone point. I'm ready to see new possibilities. Underneath the arm. I'm ready to have new and inspired ways to pack my kids' lunches show up. Underneath the chest. I'm ready to feel differently about this today. Wrist points. I could choose to keep on struggling. Top of the head. To keep letting this be one of the worst things I have to do. Eyebrow point. Or I could choose to make it easier for myself. Side of the eye. I don't have to struggle and sacrifice in this area. Underneath the eyes. This could be a win-win-win for me and my kids. Underneath the nose. I'm ready for this to be easy today. Underneath the mouth. I'm ready for inspiration and guidance. Collarbone point. Because the truth is, this is a special time in my life and in my kids' lives. Underneath the arms. And I'm not going to let little things dampen this. Underneath the chest. I'm ready to do this differently today. Wrist points. And I'm ready to be shown many opportunities and possibilities. Top of the head, to make this easier for me today. Okay. There we go. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel so much better. And just taking a notice, like noticing how you feel in your body. So for me, I feel so much more relaxed. I feel so much more open. Yeah, I'm going to have to do them, but maybe there's going to be some inspiration that comes along. There's creativity flowing. Maybe I'm going to get in a creative mood. Maybe I am going to be guided to somebody or something that is going to help me in this area. Maybe I'm going to be ready to ask for somebody's help. Maybe I'm going to be ready to get my kids involved. If they're a certain age and they can take a little bit of responsibility, they have a little bit of, initiation or initiative. That's the word I'm looking for. They have a little bit, they can take a little bit of the initiative and they can help me with their lunches, and then I can kind of start to step back. It's a win-win-win because we're teaching them how to be responsible for themselves. We're teaching them how to depend on, us as a mother, but also creating some independence for them too. And maybe that's what they need, because then they can appreciate the lunch that they made for themselves. You know what I mean? So there's so many different possibilities. There's so many different ideas. There's so many different services. There's so many different ways to see this differently today. And even if I have to keep on making their lunches and they keep on not eating it and I keep on feeling uninspired, at the very least, I feel very unattached and neutral, and just it is what it is. It's not contributing to the chaos of that morning rush. It's not there's nothing that's being, built on, it's not adding to any more stress or struggle or anything like that. And at the very least, that's the best that I could. That's sometimes the best thing that I could have happen, is to just feel neutral and just to feel kind of neutral about something and not have it create any more anxiety or stress to other things in my life, right? To create that snowball effect. So please let me know how you found this. If there's anything that comes up for you, again, there's always the thing behind the thing. So maybe this triggers control, or maybe this triggers your feeling of being unappreciated. Of that, for me, sometimes it's like a wasteful thing. It's like my kids don't eat their lunch and then they have to eat it after school. And it's just like, I don't want to have to make them do that. And it's always a fight. There's always something. So if there's something deeper there, make note of that. You can always reach out and try a free EFT tapping session with me, and we can go a little bit deeper. We can dig into some of the things behind the things. And yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys, and we will see you soon for some more to-do list tappings. We'll chat with you guys soon. Bye.